This is Abhishek. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the third week in my 54 book project. I plan to read 54 books in 1 year. That's one book for each week of the year. The book I'm reading in this third week of the year is Marriage by Devdutt Pattanaik. I love Devdutt Pattanaik's work. I've been a fan for a very long time, and in this book, he collects 100 stories about marriage from mythologies from all around India. And as you know, India is a diverse country with so many different states that have their own rituals, their own histories, their own cultures. So it's amazing how he brought some of these things together in this book. Here are some things I learned from this book. Firstly, the story behind rituals. From this book, I realized that some of the things that we normally include in marriages in India, like the bangles or the sindoor, they come from the Harappan civilization, and the Mangal Sutra comes from the Dravidian civilization. Um, a ritual like haldi comes um, from the Hindu culture or the Hindu customs, and Mehndi comes from the Islamic traditions. So it was very interesting how he was able to break down some of these commonly accepted ways of getting married in India. And he was able to trace that back to certain civilizations that existed in the country. Number two, I think what was really powerful about this book was how he showed that the idea of marriage has various diverse perspectives. Um, and that's something that needs to be discussed on a day-to-day basis. And one of the interesting things in this book was how he structured the chapters. Each chapter is related to a particular theme. Some of the themes in the book include um, multiplicity, singledom, children, parenting, property, heartbreak, coupledom. So these stories are structured around these 10 themes, and each story is maybe less than a page long, which makes it really accessible. But he explores this idea of marriage using these 10 different themes, which I thought was really fascinating. The next thing that the author delved on was the concept of um, marriage with regards to the five W's and one H. For instance, who do we marry? Why do we marry? When do we marry? Where do we marry? How do we marry? These are things he breaks down through these 100 stories. And I think the way he does it is really interesting through bite sized stories related to myths from the Vedas or the Bhagavad Gita and a lot of the important Indian books, Indian scriptures that he has studied over the years. And the fourth thing I wanted to share was how he spoke about some of these myths with regards to these. The people or in these myths were gods, and these gods had problems that were very human, and that was an interesting way to approach some of these myths. Because it helped me empathize with how even these super powerful characters can also have very human problems, and how they dealt with it helps me understand how I can deal with my own problems in my life. And finally, the best reason to read